Hey guys, Stone here with Nintendo Life, and today we're going to be talking about the recent interview with Nintendo's president, Doug Bowser, and the upcoming Switch 2 forecast and how pre-orders are going to end up going through, and my opinions and thoughts on that. So, let's go ahead and get started. So, recently there was an interview with Doug Bowser about the backlash to the Switch 2 because the prices for it have been very high. As you may know, the Switch 2 console is now going to launch for a price of $450 United States dollars, and with the Mario Kart World bundle being a price of $500 US dollars, which is really high, especially for a Nintendo console. Now, the president did say that he thinks this is a reasonable price for what you're getting hardware-wise and software-wise, especially with the games being $80, $90, $70. The new Donkey Kong Bananas is going to be $69.99 US, and the new Mario Kart World is going to be $79.99 US, which, again, for a video game, especially Nintendo, I feel like is very high. But he says the prices he thinks are totally justified, that it's worth paying for. You're getting what you're paying for. But that's not what we're here to talk about. We're here to talk about that he basically called all of us poor in the nicest way possible. So in this interview, he talked about how they are going to be keeping support for the OG original Switch. We don't know how long they're going to keep support for this console, but they're going to keep support going for this console while Switch 2 is out. They're not going to drop the support for the original Switch. They're not forcing you to get a Switch 2. They're not forcing you to upgrade, which I think is great, until you look into the interview a little bit more. It's rough. He said that they extended support because, you know, people can't afford it. That's not a joke. He said this, and I quote, "We recognize that there are some people that may not be able to afford the Switch 2's price point. That's why we wanted to make the other Switch platforms available, so people have an opportunity to come into our gaming universe, be a part of these characters in these worlds, and see value, if you will, in whatever rung of the platform they come in." Yeah, that's right. He called you poor. He said, well, can't get the Switch 2? Play the original. Which, that's a bold statement. A lot of people are comparing this to when Microsoft in 2013 released the Xbox One, and you needed a internet connection for almost every feature, including setting up an account. And that got a lot of backlash from people that didn't have internet connections. They weren't able to stay on the internet. They said, oh yeah? Well, you can't stay on the internet. Use the Xbox 360. A lot of people are comparing it to that, which I can totally see why. They just said, oh, can't use our new gen console. Too bad. Use last gen. Womp womp. Which, I think the situation's kind of funny. I'm not even gonna lie. The fact that I don't know, guys. That's crazy. But yeah, he said, can't afford the Switch 2? Play the Switch 1. So there you go. Also, speaking of the Switch 2's price point of $450, a lot of people were thinking that was the new price because of the tariffs that were put on the United States. And if you don't know, our U.S. government, Donald Trump, put tariffs on a lot of other countries for goods that are being imported into the United States. He put a whopping 46% tariff on Vietnam, and I don't remember how much it was for China. I'm pretty sure it was about 53%, which is quite high. And a lot of people were speculating, oh, the Switch 2 is going to be $450 because of the tariffs, and that's the price baked in with the tariffs. And Doug Bowser did confirm, no, that's just the price of the Switch 2. That's without tariffs, without any of that. He said they're going to try and keep the price of the Switch 2 at $450 without raising it anymore, because he knows that it is already expensive. He's already acknowledging that. And a lot of people are thinking Switch 2 is really not going to sell that great, as well as they thought, just because of the price. And I can totally see why. $450 is a lot of money, especially for a Nintendo console. We haven't seen a Nintendo console really this expensive very much at all. Now, I mean, I think we have. I think I want to say the Wii was up there, but this was back in the day, and if you account for inflation and stuff. But I think the Wii was $300 when it came out. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think it was $300, $250 in that ballpark. And it had a pack-in game of Wii Sports. I still think it's stupid that they're not packing in Welcome Tour with the Switch 2. That should not be a paid software. That is a literal tutorial. But that's not for this video. But yeah, $450 is the pre-tariff price. So that is the actual retail price of the Switch 2. Tariffs aren't affecting that. So a lot of people were saying, oh yeah, the Switch 2 would have been only like $400 or $350. But it's $450 because of the tariffs. No, that is the actual price of the Switch 2. Which is very confusing because in Japan, you can get of course, a Japan-locked, region-locked Switch 2 for about the price, $380 US, which is just a few more extra dollars than the Switch OLED. The Switch OLED model is $350 US. That's how much it launched for. So $380. That's an extra $30. Yeah. So I honestly don't understand this whole pricing thing. But we'll have to see how it goes. Next up, we have the delay. So as we all know, Nintendo announced that the Switch 2 pre-orders have been halted in the United States. Switch 2 is no longer going to be available for pre-order on April 9th as originally planned. I was hoping to pre-order that tonight. I was going to do a video about that, the pre-order process, see how they're preventing scalpers. And we'll see how they're preventing scalpers in another video. But, no. As of right now, pre-orders have been halted indefinitely in the United States. And just recently, they've been halted in Canada as well, which is making a lot of people mad. So all Switch 2 pre-orders have been halted in all of North America. So we're just gonna have to keep a lookout on the pre-orders. Excuse me. We're gonna have to keep a lookout on the pre-orders because all of North America is totally locked and they cannot pre-order. Now, I'll have to see if I can pre-order from Best Buy or GameStop. Probably not, but, you know, it's worth a shot. I'll check tonight, and I'll let you guys know. But there you go. That's your Nintendo news for today. Situation's rough. I'm not gonna lie. It's rough. But we'll just have to see how it plays out. And, are you gonna pre-order Switch 2? I'd like to know. Tell me in the comments below. And, yeah. I will see you guys in another video. And, catch you around. Peace.